You are sitting in the driver's seat, but your hands are not on the steering wheel. You wake up every single morning. You go through the motions of your routine. You interact with your colleagues. You talk to your family. And yet a quiet, suffocating realization lingers in the back of your mind. You're not actually running your life. Your life is running you. A single negative email from your boss sends your heart rate skyrocketing for the entire afternoon. A careless comment from a friend makes you question your worth for days. The news cycle dictates your mood. Your uncompleted to-do list dictates your sleep. You're constantly reacting, constantly putting out fires, constantly shifting your emotional state to match the unpredictable, chaotic demands of a world that does not care about your peace. You feel exhausted, not because you are physically laboring, but because you are dragging the immense, impossible weight of trying to manage an uncontrollable universe. We are sold a devastating lie by modern society. We are told that to take control of our lives, we need more. We need more money, more influence, more life hacks, more optimized morning routines, and more external power. We believe that if we can just arrange the outside world perfectly, our internal world will finally feel safe. But over 2,000 years ago, the ancient Stoics recognized that this approach is a guaranteed recipe for lifelong misery. Men like Marcus Aurelius, who literally ruled the known world, and Epictetus, who lived in the brutal chains of slavery, both arrived at the exact same terrifyingly liberating conclusion. True power has absolutely nothing to do with what happens to you. Total, unshakable control is an inside job. It is the mastery of your own mind. Today, we are going to burn down the exhausting illusions that are keeping you trapped in a state of perpetual anxiety. We are not going to talk about 50 different habits you need to track. We are going to strip everything away until only the absolute foundation remains. We are going to dive into the only 3 Stoic rules you will ever need to take absolute, uncompromising control of your life. These are not soft philosophical suggestions. They are brutal, battle-tested mental protocols designed to make you completely untouchable. Before we reconstruct your mental architecture, you must make a definitive choice. Are you ready to stop living as a victim of circumstance? If you are tired of surrendering your peace to a world that thrives on your panic, hit the subscribe button right now. Join a community of individuals who are choosing sovereign strength over modern weakness. Share this video with someone who is currently drowning in the noise of their own life. And whatever you do, do not skip a single moment of this guide. Every rule we cover is a load-bearing pillar. If you miss one, the fortress collapses. Seal your commitment to this transformation today. Drop this exact vow in the comments right now. I'm the sole commander of my reality. Number 1, clears throat, the ruthless amputation of the external. The primary reason you feel completely out of control is a severe chronic misallocation of your most premium asset, your mental energy. You are bankrupting yourself by trying to finance things you cannot afford to manage. You spend hours agonizing over what other people think of your decisions. You spiral into panic over the state of the economy. You lose sleep, endlessly rehearsing a conversation you had 3 years ago, trying to change a past that is already carved in stone. You project your mind into a hypothetical, disastrous future, fighting imaginary wars that do not even exist. You're trying to hold back the ocean with a bucket, and you are wondering why you are drowning. The absolute bedrock of Stoic philosophy, the very first rule you must master to reclaim your life, is the law of radical division. Epictetus taught that the path to freedom begins with distinguishing between what is strictly our own and what belongs to the world. You must draw a brutal, unforgiving line in the sand of your consciousness. On one side of the line is everything you actually control. Your judgments, your interpretations, your conscious choices, your integrity, and your level of effort. That is your empire. It is incredibly small, but your authority there is absolute. On the other side of the line is everything else. Other people's opinions, the weather, traffic, the market, natural disasters, aging, illness, and the actions of those you love. That is the wild, untamed universe. To take control of your life, you must practice the daily ruthless amputation of the external. When an event triggers panic inside of you, you must stop immediately and ask yourself, is this within my direct absolute control? If the answer is no, you must drop it as if it were a burning coal. You do not negotiate with it. You do not gently set it down. You completely sever your emotional attachment to its outcome. This is not a practice of apathy. It is not about becoming cold or uncaring. It is the ultimate form of strategic focus. When you stop pouring your vital life force into the black hole of the uncontrollable, that energy surges back into your own hands. You stop trying to manipulate your coworkers' opinion of you, and you redirect that massive volume of energy into doing your job with flawless excellence. You stop stressing over the possibility of failure, and you focus entirely on your daily execution. When you withdraw your desperate grip on the external world loses its grip on you. You become a self-sustaining ecosystem of power. The chaos continues to rage outside, but you remain completely still, knowing that your inner citadel cannot be breached unless you voluntarily unlock the gates. Anchor this fundamental truth in your mind right now. Comment below. I release the world and rule my mind. Number 2, the sacred mastery of the pause. Look at how the average person navigates their day. They are nothing more than a biological reflex. A stimulus occurs and they react instantly. Someone insults them and they snap back with venom. Flight is delayed and they explode with frustration. A challenging task is presented and they immediately retreat into procrastination and comfort. They operate entirely on the primitive logic of action and reaction driven by fear, ego, and the desperate need to defend their fragile identity. When you live in this state of instant reaction, you are a puppet. You're handing the strings of your nervous system to anyone who knows how to push your buttons. You have no control over your life because you have no control over your impulses. The second Stoic rule is the mastery of the sacred pause. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust, distilled this ancient wisdom into a singular, life-changing observation. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. To take control of your life, you must learn to live inside that gap. When someone disrespects you, when a crisis hits, when your chest tightens with anxiety, your biological instinct will scream at you to react immediately. You will feel a burning urgency to speak, to fight, or to run. You must deny that instinct. You freeze. You take one slow, deliberate breath. You watch the emotion rise inside of you like a sudden wave, but you refuse to be swept away by it. You do not suppress the anger or the fear. You simply observe it. You say to yourself, I am feeling anger right now, but I am not my anger. In that agonizingly silent pause, you reclaim your authorship. You step out of the emotional storm and into the seat of reason. From that place of quiet authority, you ask yourself, what is the most virtue-aligned strategic response to this situation? When you train yourself to master the pause, your entire life changes. People can no longer provoke you. Manipulators lose their leverage over you because you refuse to give them the emotional explosion they are hunting for. You stop destroying your own reputation with careless, heated words. You stop sending the angry email. You stop escalating minor inconveniences into massive dramas. You transform from a frantic, reactive animal into a calm, calculating force of nature. The pause is where your power lives. It is the invisible shield that protects your dignity. Declare your emotional sovereignty right now. Type this: I command the space between feeling and action. Number 3, the unyielding commitment to identity-driven action. We live in a society that worships motivation. You have been conditioned to believe that you need to feel good in order to do good. You wait for the perfect mood to go to the gym. You wait for a burst of inspiration to start your business. You wait for the fear to completely disappear before you have the difficult conversation. You have tied your actions to your emotional state. And because your emotional state is inherently volatile, changing with the weather, your blood sugar, and your stress levels, your life is completely inconsistent. You take 2 steps forward on a good day and 3 steps backward on a bad day. You are wondering why you cannot gain traction, why you feel so disappointed in yourself, and why true control constantly eludes you. The third and Final Stoic rule is the absolute destruction of motivation replaced by the unbreakable power of identity-driven action. Marcus Aurelius did not govern the Roman Empire because he felt highly motivated every morning. He governed it because it was his duty. The Stoics understood that waiting for the right feeling is a fool's game. How to take control of your life, you must stop asking yourself, like, how do I feel about doing this? And start asking yourself, who am I? Discipline is not a punishment. It is not a rigid, joyless existence. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. It is the act of keeping your own promises to yourself regardless of the emotional weather. When your alarm goes off at 500 a.m., your biology will beg you to stay in the warm bed. Your mind will conjure a dozen perfectly logical excuses for why you deserve to rest. If you negotiate with that voice, you lose. You must establish a standard that completely bypasses your feelings. You get up not because you want to, but because you are the kind of person who gets up. You do the hard, grueling work, not because it is fun, but because your identity demands excellence. Action must precede emotion, not the other way around. When you force yourself to take action while you are tired, while you are anxious, and while you are unmotivated, you perform an act of psychological alchemy. You prove to your subconscious mind that your will is stronger than your weakness. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you lay a brick in the foundation of your self-respect. Over time, that self-respect hardens into an unshakable, dangerous confidence. You stop worrying about what life will throw at you because you know with absolute quiet certainty that you possess the internal fortitude to handle it. You no longer need the world to be easy because you have made yourself strong. Lock in your new standard today. Leave this vow in the comments. My actions are driven by my character, not my mood. These 3 rules are brutally simple, but they require the devotion of a lifetime. You sever your attachment to the uncontrollable. You master the space between stimulus and response. And you force your actions to obey your identity, not your emotions. When you apply these 3 protocols, the chaos of the world ceases to be a threat. The economy can crash. People can betray you. Plans can fall apart. And the storms of life can rage with terrifying violence. Let the wind howl. You are no longer a leaf caught in the storm. You are the mountain. You observe the chaos. You feel the rain, but you do not move. You are anchored in the deep, undeniable truth that while you cannot direct the universe, you are the absolute, undisputed sovereign of your own soul. The philosophy has been laid before you. The tools are in your hands. The only thing standing between you and total mastery is your willingness to step into the fire and do the work. If you have stayed with me until the very end, you belong to a rare fraction of humanity. You are not a spectator looking for a quick fix. You are an architect ready to build a life of profound substance. Prove your commitment to yourself right now. Hit the like button to cement your progress today. Share this video with someone who needs to wake up and reclaim their power. And make sure you are subscribed so you never lose your edge. Leave your final unbreakable declaration in the comments below. I command my mind and I conquer my life. Stay grounded. Stay disciplined. Guard your inner citadel. I will see you in the next one.